Hi, my name is Arin, and I've got a speech communication degree from the University of Waterloo. And I'm going to talk to you today about manipulation and high pressure sales tactics and multi level marketing companies. And I'm going to give you a general sense of what you should be looking for, how to avoid it, all of that stuff, okay? So I'm going to start this off with a little story because the reason I can talk about this authoritatively here is because I fell for quite a few, quite a few multi level marketing companies. And I've lost money, a significant amount of money on multi level marketing companies. And sometimes I've known, and sometimes I haven't known until too late. And let me tell you the first time I ever interacted with a multi level marketing company. So, of course, I'm applying for jobs on LinkedIn, and I get a call. But I get a call on a weekend, I think it was Saturday, and it's at 9 p.m., okay? And this wasn't an email that I got first that led to a call. It's a straight up call from a guy on LinkedIn who saw my profile and he said, "Oh, I love your profile." And I'm like, "Great." And he said, "I have this opportunity." Okay, he doesn't say, "I have this job." And he doesn't say the details of a job, right? He says, "I've got this opportunity, and would you like to come for this meeting?" He doesn't say interview. I say like, "Oh, so this is an interview." And he says, "This is an opportunity to meet people and meet the team and stuff. And you're going to get to see all these important people from," and he lists off some important banks. He lists BMO and TD and CIBC. Um, those banks were not there, I'll just tell you that. But he basically saying there's all these important people that I'm gonna meet there. And I say, "Oh, cool. And are these the people you work with or you work for?" Because I have no idea who this is or what company he works for. No clue, no clue at all. And even if he when he lists what company he works for, it's not even the greater company, right? It's a smaller version of a company. And I say, "Oh, cool. And what was your name again?" He didn't even say it, right? And then I'm like, "Oh, you're this name." And I see him on LinkedIn. I'm like, "Oh, you do this kind of work. Um, and you want me to do," and whatever he says, it is not very clear. Right? I might imagine I understand what it is in the moment, but the moment I'm thinking, what was that? What did he actually say? I didn't understand at all, right? What was going on. And he just says, "Okay, we've got this meeting tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "And we're in Mississauga." I'm in Waterloo. I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't have a car. And I'm like, "Oh, crap." And he's calling at 9 p.m. the night before. And he says, "Yeah, and it's going to be at 9 a.m." And I'm like, "Oh, jeez." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, but it's like, this was, I really want you here, and this is our one chance to really see each other." And he's making it seem like this is the one shot I have of actually meeting him and being there. And I've got pretty much like, I gotta go to bed right then and there because it's like I'm gonna have to wake up super early and figure out a plan and get there. I'm like, "All right, well, hey, this is a job." And I look him up on LinkedIn and he's got a podcast. I'm thinking like, "Oh, his podcast is trash. I can help with that." I can, because I'm a communications person, I could either improve parts of the podcast, or maybe I could organize things, or maybe I could somehow upgrade things or make a better speaker, something like that, right? I'm thinking, okay, there's opportunities here, right? Um, well, after an absurdly long commute in which he actually drives over to pick me up so that I can get to the meeting in time, which I had assumed was an interview, which was definitely not an interview. It was basically a multi level marketing pitch meeting, hard to describe. They kind of hype people up. They say, "Oh, you can do anything if you become a salesperson." Maybe later on, another time, I'll tell a video about all the things that were described and how they're pretty BS, but interesting, interesting. I just said, like, you know what? I knew what it was the moment I stepped in the door. I knew. It was too obvious. But I started writing things down, took a lot of notes, showed that, oh, I'm still interested. And then he says, "Oh, let me take you to my office, another location." I've gotten in the car with this guy twice. You probably shouldn't do that, right? You shouldn't let somebody keep driving you around to random locations in the city you don't know, but I did, and I'm still here. So knock on wood, it worked out. But we got into a conversation in his office, and he tells me about all the amazing money that you can make and all the amazing money he's been making when he's driving a car that is obviously pretty old. He'll tell me, "Oh my God, I make $250,000 a year," and he is driving maybe a $10,000 used car. It's not a fancy car. It's rough. He's telling me about how much money he makes in an office building where there doesn't seem to be any other offices. It doesn't seem like there's anybody else there, and he goes through a PowerPoint presentation with me, and he talks about all the money and all this, and I'm just saying, like, look, man, do you have a normal job for me? Is this like an actual normal job? And he talks about all this benefits and all these, and I'm like, look, job, like just a normal paying job. That's why I'm here. I was wondering if you had something like that for me. And I really messed him up because he was thinking that I would be so enamored by these amazing opportunities. But in reality, it's like, I don't trust you, man. I just want to work something normal, right? And that'll really mess with somebody who's doing multi-level marketing, right? If you get away from their expectations. So another thing I think is important is when I was in the drive with him, I started saying, like, my dad used to work for some multi-level marketing companies, which is true. But I just went through the conversation with him, and I said, "Oh, you ever heard of Amway?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I used to work for Amway." And we're having this nice conversation about multi-level marketing companies. And I'm doing this because he's comfortable to talk about multi-level marketing companies now. And we're having this, and it becomes pretty clear that it's like, oh yeah, this is also a multi-level marketing company. So if you're showing that, oh, I'm comfortable with the idea, they'll probably just admit to you that it is one. Right? Like, you won't have to really get into the weeds of like, is this technically one? Also, if it feels like one, it probably is, right? Like, oh, this seems like a pyramid kind of structure. It seems like you may make most of your money by hiring more people to do this work for you, and then they hire more people to do work for them. And if they talk about making your own business within being in a business, it's likely a multi-level marketing company. And if they talk about you sending your money up to other people, it's definitely a multi-level marketing company, right? I had a different interaction at a networking event. I met two multi-level marketing people there. Both were trying to sell me on their sort of product. But the second lady I was talking to, I said, I don't want to be rude here, but this sounds to me like, this reminds me of an MLM, right? A multi-level marketing company. And like, I was very much like, hey, it's not a big deal. I don't care if it is. I just want to know. I've been involved with some in the past. And I'm just like, I just want to know. Now, here's the thing. The answer to that question should be no. This is not a multi-level marketing company, right? And maybe they're offended, right? Or maybe they explain why it's not. The last thing they should say is, why do you think that, multi-level marketing companies are illegal? Why in the world would you think that I would have a multi-level marketing company? Now, let me be specific about what a multi-level marketing company is. If they start to define what a multi-level marketing company is, you understand that clearly whatever they have is in a real gray zone and is very similar to a multi-level marketing company, and they're very aware that a multi-level marketing company is illegal, and that they are trying to get into the real weeds and explain why what they have isn't that. Look, if they're being that damn specific, clearly there's something wrong. Clearly it's a multi-level marketing company that is just legally in a gray zone, right? So run. Right? I'll get into an argument with people because that's me, and I'll be like, okay, but you would just say no. Right? If it was one. And she went through this massive justification and said, don't you know that it would be this? Don't you know that it would be that? And she sets up questions where it's like, saying no would make no sense. And it's like, multi-level marketing companies are illegal in Canada. You understand this? Yes. And I'm like, and you might say yes. And then she'd say, and then of course that multi-level marketing companies have this particular structure And what I'm talking about has this particular structure. So therefore, this can't be a multi-level marketing company. Yes, yes. And when you get into these questions, they want you to keep saying yes so that you agree to them, that you build this yes momentum, that you are essentially following their instructions, right? It's almost hypnosis to some extent. In this scenario where you feel like, I know what the problem is, that this is a multi-level marketing company, but for some reason I feel like I'm not able to say no to these things, or I'm not able to disagree, or I'm not able to make my point. I'm being forced down a certain path. At this point, if you hear a question that seems like an obvious yes, that you know is pushing you in the wrong direction, just say, and they're going to keep pushing you, and they're going to say, yes, obviously yes. And you're going, I don't know. And they'll say, what do you not know? What do you not understand? It's like, I think I reject the question, right? Because obviously the question's pushing you in the wrong spot, into the wrong place. And you just say, I reject the question. I don't think it's as absolute as that. I think there's a legal gray zone, or I just don't know if I like the vibe you're putting out, right? I don't know if I trust you. All of those things are perfectly relevant to say. Just say, I don't like the line of questioning here, or just leave, right? I mean, they're not gonna, like, there's nothing actually keeping you there. There is this social pressure, but the social pressure is pushed out by them. There's no walls here, there's no force that's keeping you in that room or in that conversation. So go away, say like, hey, it was nice talking to you. I gotta go. I got a thing. Oh, that's my friend over there. I just gotta go, right? I just gotta go for whatever reason. And that's all you have to do. If you get into a situation where you're being called by a multi-level marketing person for life insurance, because I've got experience with that, and they're on the phone with you, there's also a very good chance that the conversation you're having on the phone did not start as a life insurance conversation, right? It might have been about some product that the life insurance company is offering for free, okay? Just because it's free doesn't mean you have to give them anything, right? Just because they give you something for free doesn't mean that you have to feel responsible for giving them any money, right? If somebody was selling you a product and they gave you a muffin first, does that mean therefore I must buy the product? No. And honestly, the muffin's pretty cheap and the product's probably pretty expensive, right? But we feel indebted to people when they give us something for free, right? Okay, so get that out of your head, because it's really easy to manipulate people by giving them free stuff, okay? So you get your free thing, whatever it is. Or you could just deny the free thing too, right? You go to a salesperson and they say, hey, would you like a coffee? You can say no, right? But you got whatever free thing, and then they say, hey, have you ever considered getting life insurance? And you can say yes or you can say no, but I want you to consider, where did this conversation start? Okay, it started with, oh, we got this free thing, or we got this child safety app, right? And you'll be like, okay, cool. Consider also that if they want to get your contacts list, don't give it to them, right? Because they might say, oh my God, everybody should have this free thing, this amazing free thing. Why don't you give us your whole contacts list? And you could just say, well, I will get them in contact with you, right? Or I'm not comfortable giving my contacts list over the phone, right? You shouldn't trust people over the phone in general, right? You should be skeptical. And then maybe after they get your contacts list, they're gonna go for your whole contacts and do the same tactic with them, okay? So just consider that's why I say not to, because you don't want all your friends and family having the exact same thing happen to them. But say they get past that and they say, oh, have you ever considered getting life insurance? And you can say sure, you can say no. But if you say yes, then they might say, hey, have you considered that this amazing product is having this very short window here where you can get this amazing deal, right, on this life insurance? I want you to know that that is a completely BS idea as a whole. When I would, now it didn't ever get to this point because I stopped the sales training, but the idea is they call, and the moment they call, this amazing discount period starts, right? Or the amazing period where you can get the life insurance starts. The beginning the call starts. And then it ends the moment the call ends, right? It's a made-up concept. So ask them exactly how long this period is and when it's going to come around next. And you can do all this, and you might break them right there. You might not. Just try to get into the real specifics of things, right? And then they'll say, oh, you can have this amazing thing, but you got to buy it right now. And just don't, right? Because if this is an amazing product and an amazing deal, deals come back, right? There's never a situation, ever, where there's a deal that will never come back even years later, okay? So just saying like, well, I want to think about it. I want to take some time away and think about it and like, oh, exactly how long is this open for, right? And if they say, oh, no, you got to get it right now, and there's this whole line, and just say, well, next year, right? Next year. It's not a big deal, right? But if they're pushing you and they're saying you have to buy it right now, that's a bad sign. If they ever push you so hard and they make it seem like there's no other chance, right? There will never be another chance to get this amazing product. And if you don't buy it right now, this horrible thing will happen to you. And I was told that what you tell people when they're saying like, oh, I have to think about it, or maybe I'll wait a little longer, is you say, people only think about getting life insurance 3 times in their lives. I'm essentially quoting here. They think about it right now during the call when they've got the opportunity to lock in a low price. The second time they think about it is in the hospital when they come away with a tumor, diabetes, whatever illness, and I would specifically choose an illness that I knew would hit them, right? If they had mentioned any family member with a disease, I will use that specific disease, right? And I will say, like, the second time they think about it is in the hospital when they can't get life insurance anymore, right? Because they have this illness, this disease that I know hits them. And then the third time they think about it, well, it's not them that's thinking about it, it's their family. I could name people if I knew people. It's their family thinking about it. Well, they have to pay for their funeral costs and they don't have enough money to live in their home anymore, right? There's variations of this you can use, and it's horrible. Trust me. I know. I know it's horrible. That's why I didn't do it. But that's the kind of thing they'll do to you because they want you to imagine the worst day of your life, your death, your family's death, somebody you care about's death. And they want you to, they want you to suffer a little bit here. They want you to really imagine the worst case scenario. And it's going to push you to buy this product, right? Your emotions are going to push you to buy this product. You need space from this person, right? You need to say, look, I'm going to put you on hold for a few minutes, or I'm going to call somebody else to talk to them first, right? Don't make the decision. If somebody's trying to make you feel emotional, you should say, are you trying to make me feel this emotion? Are you trying to make me feel angry? Are you trying to make me feel sad? Is there some reason why you want me to feel that emotion? And then you'll see what answer you get. Likely, if they are a good person, a genuine individual who wants to help you, they'll say, oh, I didn't intend for you to feel that way. I apologize. But maybe they'll say, yeah, you should feel angry, or you should feel depressed, or, death is horrible. And it's like, that's the wrong thing to hear. The salesperson you're talking to shouldn't be trying to ruin your day to make you buy their product, right? That's a very manipulative person. So you just say, I'm going to put you on hold. And you put them on hold, or you call somebody else, or you just hang up. That's the best response. But, put them on hold and think about it. Like, really take a minute and think, how did this conversation start? Did I even want life insurance? Likely not. Do I trust this individual? Do they have the best intentions for me? If this was a good product, would they have to ruin my day to make me buy this amazing product? Put it this way, if it's the world's best product, they don't have to manipulate you into buying it. So just take a moment, or maybe call somebody, say, what do you think about this? Can you look up this company for me? Maybe look at the company up yourself, and really think it through, because any important decision you should think through. You should spend a significant amount of time thinking about it before you spend a significant amount of money. And really say to yourself, is this worth doing? And you're likely going to say no, and then you can hang up And if you had them on hold, or if you, like, I don't encourage you to go back in and say, actually, we won't be going with this today. You can. You can. Why would you? You don't have to. You don't owe them that. If this is a person truly trying to manipulate you, you don't have to be kind and respectful to them, okay? They don't deserve your kindness. So I think that's a basic introduction to sort of manipulation, multi-level marketing companies, life insurance scams. There's obviously more to this, and I could talk endlessly about this, but this video is already gone for 20 minutes. So I'm gonna leave you there, and if you wanna know more, tell me, and I'm going to be speaking at some places in the future. I'll tell you exactly where, once I know. But if you wanna hear me speak in person, go to those events that I'll be updating you about. And if you want to learn more, my email is arin.kimmel@gmail.com. That's ARIN.Kimmel, like Jimmy Kimmel, KIMMEL, @gmail.com, if you want to know more, or if you need a communication consultant. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please don't fall for any scams. Just say no.